My name is Miss Ashby and I will be completing a math and science learning activity. Today's activity uses math, science, and cognition learning standards from Washington State Early Learning Developmental Guidelines for 3 to 5-year-olds. My intention is to show how learning about animals, especially pets, can be fun and can easily relate to learning about responsibility. This activity dives into science by comparing the similarities and differences between domestic and wild animals. Also, we will highlight how both humans and animals require the same things for survival. The student will be able to ask questions and get clarification on information when that is presented. They will also They will also be able to apply new information and words to future interactions with adults and peers. So the lesson that we will be completing today is learning how to be responsible for pets. So I have my two pets here, my classroom pets. We have Blondie. She is a bearded dragon. And we have Larry, who is a spotted gecko. Blondie wants to get out of the back. You will need to a household pet or a classroom pet. If you are not, if the pets aren't available or animals are not available, you can use a stuffed animal. You can use pictures, make believe. Also, if available, you can bring and look at the pet's habitat or bed area. Also, access daily items such as their water bowl, their food dish. Bedding, a leash, a collar, vitamins. Right here I have a multivitamin for reptiles and amphibians, and then I also have a calcium supplement that keeps them healthy. So this activity will allow children the opportunity to share information that they may already know and learn more about pets that are rare. So it is essential that children explore a habitat. It is best to show them what is required for an animal to stay healthy. And this means, the types of sand that is in place, the types of greenery, the foliage, anything that makes that animal feel comfortable, you should show the children and explain to them. This is also a great opportunity to show how humans and animals are similar, and how they require the same things for survival. This activity doesn't require very much prep time. However, you may want to make sure that the animals involved are kid-friendly. Then you also want to make sure that they are comfortable being handled by children and that they're used to it. An adult will need to assist the child if or when they plan on holding or touching the pet. Children will also be asked to look into the type of habitat that animals live in and to see how they survive. So we all often hold and touch Blondie. Blondie is very friendly. Larry generally stays in his habitat. He has a little biting problem, and he does have salmonella. So we have to be very, very careful with Larry. And if we do touch him or clean his habitat, you must wash your hands and be sure that you are cleaning yourself up and being very safe with Larry. Any surface he touches, we have to be very careful. The idea is to engage a child's interest. Ask them if they have a favorite animal or if they know the difference between a domestic and a wild animal. So ask them if they have any questions. So this is a great opportunity to make a list. You can grab paper of any kind and make a list and say types of pets. And I have written here, I wrote types of pets and then types of wild animals. I have pets as dogs, cats, a bearded dragon, a leopard gecko, fish, betta fish, goldfish, birds, parrots, parakeets. But then there's other animals that you wouldn't exactly have at your home. So wild animals like lions, tigers, bears, wolves, elephants, raccoons, dolphins, all those types of animals are probably not going to be great pets for the home. Those need to be in their natural habitat and need to be in nature. Also, this is, you can then begin to gather information about how to care for the animals that the children are interested in. So I made a list of how, hey, if you like dogs, let's talk about dogs, and let's talk about how dogs require dog food, and they like to cuddle, and they like to have a collar and a leash, and they like to play fetch. So you can use that as a alleyway to engage the children's interest. Discuss how different animals need different things. Blondie eats crickets. She eats apples and greenery, mustard greens, kale. Well, Leary's a carnivore. He only eats mealworms. He doesn't need all the types of foods that Blondie needs. And same with a dog. A dog needs dog food. A horse would need hay. They're just different types of animals require different things. This is also a great time to categorize different types of animals. We can categorize reptiles, and we can categorize amphibians and birds and dogs and cats and cattle, and you can help the children narrow down and categorize all the different types of pets and animals, and then figure out what is a domestic animal, what is a wild animal. So for example, this is Blondie. Blondie wants to say hello. And Larry kind of keeps to himself and closes his eyes. And so this is the time that I usually introduce all the items that I use for Blondie and Larry. So since they are cold-blooded, they need specialty terrariums. This is the type of home that they live in, or habitat. They also need UV lights. They also need heat lights. So there are all these different types of things that they need. And Blondie gets a bath at least twice a week. Larry doesn't. So it just depends on the type of pet that you have and the care that they require. This is also a great time to ask, what types of food might your animals eat? I will ask them if they have or know of any other types of pets. Have they ever seen somebody? One of my students had a snake one time and he showed it to us. I've had parents who've had a chinchilla, just very rare and just something different. Some children live on a farm and have peacocks and goats and llamas, so it just depends on the child. If they don't have a pet, we will discuss the different types of animals, and if those are domestic animals or wild animals. You can pull out flashcards, you can pull out books. I always find silly books on animals, and this is what if you had animal eyes, and you can go through all the animals and talk about if they could be a pet, a chameleon, a clouded leopard, and you can talk about if those animals are wild or domestic animals and what types of habitats they may live in. This is also a time to kind of make sure that children understand that not all animals live in the same type of natural environments. You know, cold weather, hot weather. Some can survive with barely anything to eat. Some can survive with some need food all the time. It just depends on the type of animal. If a child seems familiar with a specific animal, such as a dog or a cat, use that as the first example. I will generally ask them if they know how to care for the animal. I will also ask who is responsible for the animal. So if they have a pet at home, who's responsible for the animal? Who feeds that animal? Does mom? Does dad? Do you? I will ask how would they care for the animal if they had to do it? If mom and dad weren't available, what would you do to care for your pet? We will go over the various things that humans have to do for pets. They have to feed them, they have to love them, they have to bathe them, they have to clean up after them. It just teaches them more about responsibility and how to be a responsible pet owner. This can lead to extending the conversation and discussing the various types of things you can also do with the animal. How do they bring enjoyment to you and you bring enjoyment to them? Playing fetch, cuddling on the couch, riding a horse. There's all kinds of things that animals get just as much enjoyment out of as humans. So after discussing a variety of animals and their habitats, I will explain how humans and animals are similar. So a lot of children don't generally make the comparison quickly because they look at this animal and they think, oh, this animal doesn't look like me at all. But if you narrow it down, if you look at Blondie, Blondie has eyes, Blondie has a nose, Blondie has skin, maybe not the same type of skin. Blondie has fingers, and I believe there's 5 fingers right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Blondie has toes, maybe a different kind, but they are similar to humans. Humans have those things too, and we all require food, water, and shelter. Our homes may look different, but we still need those same things to survive. This will then be a great time to kind of get up, really examine, maybe get a magnifying glass and look through the habitat, see what kinds of things that the habitat may have, see what you could add to the habitat. Maybe this habitat needs something extra. Maybe the animal doesn't seem happy. What could we do to make Larry happier? What could we do to help his quality of life? Some other things that you could do depending on the animal is you can teach a bird to sing a song. I used to have a grandmother, she had a parrot, and he would always sing. Animals get just as much enjoyment out of engagement as humans do. So we need to make that connection so that we can teach children to be empathetic and to be responsible and respect other living creatures. So when we go back to from sitting and looking at the habitat, go back to a table, go back to a learning area, and this is a great time to maybe draw a picture. Draw a picture of what they just learned. Draw a picture of something that they liked about Larry's habitat or Blondie, or maybe about what kind of pet they want in the future. They could draw a picture of a dog and explain why they wanted a dog. They can draw a picture of them and their pet playing in the park. They can do lots of other kinds of drawings and doing things that help, represent what they enjoy about animals. So after discussing what they picked, ask them why. Why do you like that kind of animal? Is there a certain type of color that you'd like your dog? Or is there a certain type of animal that you would want to live in your home? This is a great opportunity to ask them if they think they're responsible enough to have their own animal, and could they care for that animal without their parents' help. You can also go over and introduce new vocabulary such as how habitat means home or shelter. A domestic animal is one that lives with humans. A wild animal lives out in nature, and just reinforce that vocabulary that you had learned when you were showing them their habitats and showing them the creatures. You will also be able to make a list of what you may need. What do you need for your pet? What do you think that your pet's name will be? All those kinds of things you can create and write down and kind of extend conversation with. Throughout the lesson, you will want to give the child a lot of positive feedback, encourage them to keep thinking about other types of animals and what other types of habitats may be needed for animals. So as more animals or types are introduced, this is an opportunity to challenge the children to see how animals are the same and different. You can ask them what else might they need, or what other animals are they interested in that we didn't mention. This activity is developmentally appropriate because children will learn about the differences between domestic and wild animals. Most children take for granted the amount of work that is required to care for a pet, and this is the opportunity to show them that this is a responsibility and that they can do it. If they want to take on being a pet owner or love pets, they need to understand that it's a big responsibility and that they are living creatures. 3 to 5-year-old children are just beginning to be independent from their parents. So this is a great opportunity to show them how to be empathetic and to show them how to care for another living creature, a creature that's smaller than them, or just in general, just to teach them how to have those feelings for some other living thing. It is generally a bonus having animals around children because it helps them learn about caring and how to be respectful and supportive and responsible. Also, this is a great opportunity to help children connect with animals and understand science better, math. You can count eyes and toes and the nose. And this just hits a lot of our goals, our learning goals that we want 3 to 5-year-olds to know. Also, this is a great part to look at count body parts, look at different skin textures, understand how other creatures live. It is also individually appropriate because children will learn about a variety of pets and favorite animals that they get to choose. They get to bring up these animals. And they get to answer open-ended questions. They get to learn without being judged because it's just a fun activity to talk about animals. This activity is culturally appropriate because families have a variety of animals. As I mentioned before, I had a family who had a chinchilla, a snake. Some just have dogs and cats, or some live on a farm. All households have different types of pets. So animals are all part of cultures and can be represented across all languages and can be diverse. So I hope that you enjoyed hearing about my pets, Blondie and Larry, and how to learn about being a responsible pet owner. This activity, learning how to be responsible for pets, was created to be flexible and fun for children. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned a lot and that you will share what you've learned with others. See you later. Bye.